Hey guys, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. It's beer 30. Let's go take a walk, see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. I do appreciate it. Today's beer comes from Flying Dog Brewing. This is their Gonzo Imperial Porter. Guys, I've done this back in 2011. It's been a long time ago since I've done this beer. I don't buy very many Flying Dog beers anymore. They're not available in the grocery stores here. They probably are available in the beer stores, which I don't get to very often anymore. But it is not sold in the grocery stores around here anymore, especially Kroger's, where most of my go-to beers, if you will, are purchased. This was sent to me by my brother Rico, and this is a 2015 edition. Pretty sure he didn't pick this up on the shelf and send it to me on the fly. This probably came out of his closet, cellar, refrigerator, whatever. And he writes on this one, 9.2% ABV with 85 IBUs, which is a lot of IBUs for a porter. Says vintage 15 on the lower part of the front label, bottled on 2015. He said he bought it as a single, but it's sold in packs of 6. And he reminds me that I did review this back in 2011. Guys, I did not go back and look at that review of what I gave that beer or what I thought of it, because it was so long ago and my palate has changed drastically since then. I'm going to grade it like this is the first time that I've ever had this beer. But even though it's a 2015 and this is 2018, I don't know when in 2015 they actually bottled this beer, whether it was first part of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. We're just going to say it's a 2015, we're doing it in 2018, it's 3 years old. Just for shits and giggles, that's how we're going to do this one. For a 9.2%, that is a big porter. And guys, I've told you this many times. The brewery can call this a porter, they can call it a stout, they can call it whatever they want to call it. They have that prerogative to do that. So, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong on this, at one time they did this in little 7-ounce bottles. And I was not impressed with what I had to pay for a 7-ounce bottle back then. Since then, those small bottles have gone by the wayside. Nobody does that anymore. Thank God. This is a big 12-ounce bottle. So I'm not exactly sure what year, but I do remember them doing little 7-ounce bottles of their beers. And they were still very pricey. I don't know what he paid for this or what I paid for the one that I did back in 2011. But like I said, we're going to do this. I didn't go back and look at that review. So we're going to treat this as a brand new edition. And it's got $2.75 on this bottle, which is not a bad price for a 9.2% beer. So let's get on with this. Commercial description. Says here on Untapped, Gonzo is a big, bold, and beautiful like the man it was brewed in honor of, Dr. Hunter S. Thompson. Flavor notes: roasted chocolate, coffee, and vanilla. Malt flavors balanced with a unique hop bite. Pairs with the mushrooms, smoked meats, barbecue, and chili. Hard cheeses, chocolate, and coffee desserts. Then underneath that it says, "It never got weird enough for me." And that's a quote from Hunter S. Thompson. Don't know who that fellow is. So, hopefully this beer has cellared well. It is May of 2018. So, like I said, I don't know when this beer was produced in 2015. So, let's get on with the final beer of the evening for me. So, let's get the cap off of this bad boy. Nice little hiss, a little bit of smoke. Into the glass we go. And while I am pouring this into the glass, it doesn't seem to be too awful carbonated, so we're going to stand it up. Food pairing cuisine is barbecue cheese, earthy camera burnt fontina, meat, beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware, pint, becker, nonic, tumbler, sniffer, mug, stein, Seidel. I'm using my favorite tulip glass today, guys. And it says here can be cellar for a long period of time, which is, this one's 3 years old, guys. So we'll see how well it is done. Down the center pour, barely covering the top of the beer, not much head on that. Over to the light, I am not getting any. It looks like a stout in the glass, guys. I'm not getting any red ruby notes under the thin part of the glass down here. So, to the nose we go. Rich roasted malt. Hints of licorice and black molasses. Maybe some bittersweet chocolate in there. The roasted malt and the molasses and licorice is standing out more than anything right now. Smells decent. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. I do taste those 85 IBUs, guys. In my humble, honest opinion, they need to put some lactose in this beer to give some sweetness to it. It's a little bit too heavy on the bitterness side. I understand it takes a lot of malt and a fair amount of hops to balance that much malt to produce a 9.2%, but it's too bitter. It needs some lactose in it to sweeten it up just a little bit. Something the yeast cannot eat up during fermentation. Just my opinion. Decent beer. It's not bad. It's not off-putting. It doesn't taste off-putting or anything. But I do detect that heavy IBUs on the back from the bitterness. So that's why I'm saying I think a little lactose would make this beer a little bit more easy drinking and a little sweeter to the palate. So, but that's just my opinion. Right out of the fridge, we're going to sip on this for a little bit and see what we end up with. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on it for a while. In my honest opinion, guys, it's a decent beer. It's a well-made beer for a 9.2%, but it's got a heavy bitterness to it. I think they could use some either flaked oats or flaked oats and lactose to give it a little creamier mouthfeel and give it a little bit more sweetness to go with all that bitterness going on the back end with the IBUs this beer has got. Big time IBUs for a porter, but I realize it takes a lot of malt to produce a beer of this magnitude. I just think it should be a little easier drinking than what it is. Very off-putting as far as the bitterness goes to me. And I mean, I've had some 120 some IBU beers before, but when I drink an Imperial Porter or a stout, I want it to be pleasing. I don't want to have that strong bitterness to it, like I'm sucking on a persimmon or something. I mean, it's too much bitterness for this beer. That's where I'm going with this. It's too bitter for what you're getting. I think they could do something there to decrease the bitterness, whether they use some flaked oats or some lactose or both with producing this beer. It's a decent beer. It's a well-made beer. I'm not getting any of the alcohol for a 9.2%er, but it's not super pleasant to drink. It's decent. That's where I'm going to leave it. It's a decent beer. It's nothing that I would probably shy away from other than the bitterness of the beer. 82 IBUs is pretty heavy for an Imperial Porter that doesn't have any lactose or flaked oats or something to ease that bitterness off. That's just my opinion, guys. To me, B+. That's where I'm going to put it. 88. That's where I'm going to put this at 88. I think it's a nice beer. It's a decent beer. It's a well-made beer, but it could be better. So let's jump over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate has it at 4.02 in the exceptional range. Not going there. I think it could be a little bit better by doing what I said. So it's up to them. If they want something that's a little bit easier to drink, throw some lactose in it, guys. Get a little bit more sweetness to go with the bitterness you've got going on there, and make it a little more to the dessert style. And maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe this is what they were shooting for, or what they had been shooting for. I don't buy a lot of these beers. I don't buy any of these beers anymore from these guys. I wasn't impressed when I first started buying them, and I'm still that way. I'm not impressed. It's a B plus beer. That's where I'm gonna put it. And like I said, this is a 2015 edition. Maybe the 2018 is better than this. I don't know. Rico pulled this out of his cellar or his closet or whatever. I don't think he picked this up off the shelf being in 2015. If it did, that tells you something. Nobody's buying the beer. So let's jump over for our final check-in here, guys. And Untapped has it at 3.82 in their B plus range. I would agree with that. It's a B plus beer, guys, to me. So if you've had this one from Flying Dog Brewery, this is their Gonzo Imperial Porter. Let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.